Hello guys, welcome to another video. This is Wisdom King YouTube channel. By the way, subscribe over YouTube channel for more exciting videos of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Spoiler alert, in this video used images just for reference. Chapter 1. The Eve of the Festival. Part 2. As you can see in the last video, Masayuki could predict all of it. I figured this would happen, he thought as he accepted the king's request. Before long, a large number of adventurers, including Masayuki's rank party, gathered together for an operation to sweep up Orthrus. Counting the support troops from Wallachia, they numbered over 2,000 in all, and once chosen one had sunk its teeth into all of them. They exhibited astonishing force. Orthrus's base of operation had several hundred members on standby, including multiple great fighting forces and a few captured magical beasts. This made them as powerful as a country themselves, but with Masayuki and the assault team he led, Orthrus was thoroughly and completely cleansed from the nation. Masayuki himself hardly had to do anything, or, to put it another way, his mere presence helped everyone shine, whether he knew it or not. Thus, without a lot of work, the operation was a success, and the notorious Orthrus was smashed for good. Once again, things turned out well without Masayuki lifting a finger, and this latest feat meant he was famous not only in Inglesea but all the way to the far edges of the western nations. As usual, things went off without a hitch. It might have been nice if the story ended there, but this particular mission left a certain problem behind. Among the slaves released and put into guild custody were mixed-in monsters, including some ferocious magical beasts, which were killed on the spot. However, some of the slaves couldn't be dealt with so swiftly, namely, the elves. The issue of what to do with them soon arose. The elves wanted to return home to the forest of Jura, but the guild couldn't just drop them off and send them on their merry way. Certain geopolitical issues were involved. Jura had only just come under the jurisdiction of the demon lord Rimuru, and if the enslaved elves sought Rimuru's help, there was no guessing how he would respond. Perhaps he'd retaliate against Wallachia somehow. The Western nations knew about the disastrous scene over in Farmers, and if a nation that big could fall, there was no way one as tiny as Wallachia could defend itself. Sir Masayuki, please do something. Their king, a dignified man usually, was all but pleading for help in his private chambers, away from prying eyes. Masayuki, feeling too guilty to turn him down, agreed. It can't be that big a deal, he casually thought. All I'm doing is taking the elves to Tempest. That was the start of his mistake. For everyone who heard that the Masayuki was traveling to Tempest took that to mean the hero was finally sallying off to slay a demon lord. The rumors spread like wildfire, but Masayuki didn't take them too seriously. His mind was used to the routine, and it told him that, like always, it'd turn out just fine in the end. Certainly, Chosen One was a unique skill to be feared when set off, there was no doubting that. But no matter how strong you are, there's always someone stronger ahead, a fact Masayuki was too proud of himself to remember. Right, Masayuki said through his magic link. In that case, we'll meet over there. He was submitting his report and discussing future plans with Yuki. Due to the multiple layers of barriers protecting Inglesea, completing a magical link like this required sending your thoughts encrypted through certain wavelengths. It wasn't something you could pull off on short notice, so they had agreed to reach out to each other only at certain times. So Masayuki shut it off and sighed. Yuki worries far too much. You said it. Jinrai nodded. If you wanted to beat a demon lord, Masayuki, that couldn't possibly be a problem for you. Bernie was less optimistic. I'll remind you that even Hanata the Saint could only fight this Rimuru to a draw. It'd be wise not to let your guard down. Masayuki gave this a vague nod. It made him think a bit. Things had gone swimmingly up to now, but really, he hadn't done much at all. He didn't know Hanata, they had never met, but Yuki had nothing but praise for her, and Masayuki respected him. If she couldn't beat this guy, maybe he was a lot tougher than Masayuki thought at the moment. It gave him pause. Yeah, you're right. Everyone says Rimuru wants to make nice with people. We probably shouldn't go in raring for a fight. Haha, sounds to me like this demon lord knows his days are numbered. Demon lords are evil, plain and simple, said Jivu. Well, Bernie added, we'll have to see how he acts and decide based on that. But if the Saint and the Demon Lord have reached an agreement on matters, then only you, Masayuki, are qualified to be a true hero. You had best act carefully along those lines. Masayuki nodded. Yeah, with all your help, I bet I could beat him, but let's take things slow and steady, okay? The question of whether to fight Rimuru would be left for later. For now, they would wait and see. In the eyes of Masayuki, all three of his companions, Jinrai, Bernie, and Jivu, were utter beasts. He himself was nothing to write home about, but he couldn't imagine anyone from this trio actually losing a battle. I mean, he reasoned, if I actually got in a fight, I guess I'd win somehow, but it's not like I got a grudge against this Rimuru guy or anything, no point trying to start trouble. So as they packed up and set off for Tempest, he was pretty optimistic about how the trip would go. Even after all those royal audiences I gave, my schedule was just absolutely packed. Now I was entertaining human guests. At the moment, our nation was receiving delegations from all around the world, one after the other. Some of the earlier parties arrived a good week ago, I heard. And not all of them received formal invites, there were also merchants, picking up on the rumors and bringing even more energy to town. Previous visitors were showing them and other new guys around, acting all proud of themselves, and even the nobler dignitaries and royal families stopping in looked around in wonder at the unfamiliar sights. It seemed, at first glance, that my expectations had paid off and our plan to make this a tourist hub was working. Still, our town was only large enough to lodge maybe 3,000 nobles at best. For commoners, that number was more around 10,000, but in terms of higher-end accommodation, there wasn't quite that much. The service and the dining we had to offer were completely different, and considering we had people in royal lines of succession showing up, we had to consider security as well. Thus we made sure each noble was given ample space to work with. Given all the dignitaries we invited, we had banned the general public from our luxury inns, whether they could afford a suite or not. Some of the richer merchants in town could, but I was worried about offending them if we were too busy with nobility to offer good service. But apparently, I didn't need to worry. Majolmile was on it, making sure all the more powerful of the merchant class were set up to their satisfaction. Great job, Molly. Hey. Ah, Sir Rimuru, this much is simple to provide. You have Sir Rigid and everyone else in town to thank for making a habit of being so thorough with their work. Majolmile was a really reliable guy. It went without saying that Rigid, Rigur, and everybody working under them deserved great praise, but when it came to good customer service and satisfied lodgers, Majolmile was my good man. All things considered, I figured we were off to a pretty good start. Okay, keep it up. That I will. Leaving the rest to Majolmile, I resolved to devote myself to our most important of visitors. We hope you all enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, then subscribe over YouTube channel for more exciting videos.